Capsim Capstone 2025, Round 3 Strategy. Hello and welcome back to our Capsim Capstone 2025 Masterclass series. I'm your instructor, and in today's video, we'll focus in depth on Round 3, one of the most pivotal rounds in your business simulation journey. If you've not yet watched our Round 1 and Round 2 walkthroughs, I highly encourage you to go back and review those videos. They provide the foundation for what we're about to build upon in this session. Let's dive in. Part 1. Reviewing your position at the beginning of Round 3, your company should already be on an upward trajectory, growing revenues, stable operations, and competitive positioning. But to stay ahead of your competitors and maintain top performance in sales and profits, this is where strategy needs to be refined and execution optimized. So what are we aiming for in Round 3? Maintain our market leadership in sales, increase contribution margins, expand our product portfolio, make efficient financial and operational decisions, set the stage for exponential growth in Rounds 4 to 8. Let's start with the most crucial step. Part 2. Updating R&D, product improvement and new launches. Step 1 in your Round 3 strategy is to update your existing products to align with shifting customer expectations. This process includes adjusting performance, size, and MTBF levels based on the industry conditions report and actual market movement. Remember, never copy the specific numerical values you see in tutorials or videos. Your gain parameters, customer preferences, and product maps may vary. Instead, use the method, not the exact numbers. Now, let's talk about product updates. For existing products, check the segment's ideal position using the segment analysis report. Adjust your product specifications accordingly using your Excel forecasting tool. Make sure your update arrives on January 1st to avoid any delay in launch. For new products, if you haven't done so in Round 2, now is a good time to add a new product to capture a growing or underserved segment. Name it strategically. For example, if your company name is Andrews, and you're launching a new product in the high-end segment, you might name it AbleX or Apex. Set performance and size to the ideal spot for that segment, while maintaining MTBF close to the customer expectation, but not too high to avoid excessive material cost. What's the goal? Alignment with customer preferences for Round 4 while preserving reasonable R&D costs and minimal revision time. Part 3. Setting the price, balancing value and margin. Now that your products are updated, let's talk about pricing. Rule of thumb: reduce prices slightly, for example, 50 cents, to stay competitive, especially if the customer survey scores show competitors are undercutting your pricing. For newer products, you can set a mid-range price to encourage adoption without appearing too cheap or low-end. Use your competitive analysis report to benchmark price elasticity and plan promotional strategy accordingly. Remember, high-end customers value features more than price. Low-end customers are extremely price-sensitive. Your strategy, we're using broad differentiation here, should emphasize quality, innovation, and brand perception, not being the lowest price in the market. Part 4. Marketing decisions, promotion and sales budgets. Let's move on to marketing. For each product, set a promotion budget that ensures strong brand awareness. Typically $2,000 is a safe ceiling for maximum effect. Set a sales budget to maintain solid accessibility, between $1,500 and $2,500 depending on the segment and distribution strategy. The effect: high promo budgets increase awareness. High sales budgets improve accessibility. Quick tip: use diminishing return rules. Increasing budgets beyond a certain point yields minimal additional benefit. Keep promotion at $2,000 and sales between $1,500 and $2,000 unless you're launching a brand new product, in which case, slightly more is okay for the first round. Part 5. Calculating sales forecasts. The heart of accuracy, perhaps the most overlooked, yet critical, component is your sales forecast. Forecast too high, and you waste money on excess inventory. Forecast too low, and you miss sales and frustrate customers. So, how do we calculate it properly? Step by step. 1. Use the Round 2 actual unit sales as a base. 2. Adjust based on market growth rate, from industry conditions report, improvements in awareness and accessibility, price competitiveness, customer buying criteria alignment, positioning, MTBF, price. 3. Multiply these factors to estimate round 3 demand per product. If you added a new product, start with a conservative estimate. Use 10% to 20% of total segment demand if you're unsure. Remember, don't just guess. Use Excel or your built-in forecasting spreadsheet to apply formulas. Consistency in forecasting is key to managing your production and finance functions. Part 6. Production planning, capacity, automation, inventory. Now that you've forecasted sales, it's time to plan production. Step 1. Start with your forecast number. Step 2. Add a safety margin of 5% to 10%, especially if you're growing fast. Step 3. Subtract any existing inventory. Step 4. Set production schedule equals forecast plus buffer, inventory. Don't forget about first shift and second shift labor costs. If your capacity is insufficient, you can schedule second shift at 1.5x labor cost. However, if you plan for the long term, increase capacity instead of overusing second shifts. Automation. Increase automation gradually, especially in low-end and traditional segments. For example, move from automation level 5 to 7. For new products, start with 3 or 4 automation and increase each round. Caution: too high an automation level slows down R&D revision time. So don't raise it all at once, build gradually. Part 7. HR decisions. Investing in productivity. Capsim allows you to invest in your workforce through recruitment, spending, training hours. Here's the recommendation for round 3. Recruitment: $5,000 per product line, improves hiring quality and reduces turnover. Training: 50 to 80 hours, boosts productivity and reduces labor costs in future rounds. This investment might increase your short-term expenses, but it pays off in lower per-unit labor cost and smoother operations in later rounds. Part 8. Finance, funding growth sustainably. Round 3 often requires heavy investment in R&D, production, marketing, and HR. So where does the money come from? You have 3 main options. 1. Issue stock. 2. Issue long-term debt. 3. Use operating cash or retained earnings strategy. In early rounds, issuing stock is a good choice to raise funds without high interest payments. Long-term debt can be used, but manage your debt ratio to avoid credit rating issues. Do not issue too much short-term debt unless you're in an emergency. Dividend policy: pay minimal or no dividends in round 3. Reinvest profits into growth. Dividend increases are useful later to maintain investor confidence when cash surplus is available. Cash buffer: always leave at least $20,000 to $50,000 in cash to avoid emergency loans. An emergency loan damages your credit rating and hurts your score. Part 9. Monitoring financial statements before submitting your round 3 decisions. Review your pro forma income statement, pro forma balance sheet, pro forma cash flow statement. Key metrics to check: contribution margin, aim for 30% to 40% depending on segment. Net profit, ideally 5% or more of sales. Inventory, less than 1 round's worth of overstock. Emergency loan, should be $0, always. These checks will help ensure your round execution is tight and avoid unwanted surprises in round 4. Part 10. Summary of round 3 decisions. Let's summarize everything you've accomplished in round 3. White heavy checkmark: updated product specifications for existing products. White heavy checkmark: launched a new product in a strategic segment. White heavy checkmark: adjusted pricing to remain competitive. White heavy checkmark: allocated optimal promotion and sales budgets. White heavy checkmark: forecasted sales accurately using historical data. White heavy checkmark: scheduled production and adjusted automation and capacity. White heavy checkmark: invested in HR to build long-term efficiency. White heavy checkmark: managed financial strategy through stock issuance and debt. White heavy checkmark: ensured liquidity to avoid emergency loans. White heavy checkmark: reviewed pro forma statements before submission, and most importantly, you've implemented a broad differentiation strategy that focuses on quality, innovation, and market responsiveness. Final thoughts and what's next with round 3 complete. You should now be in a strong position, leading in both cumulative profit and market share. From round 4 to round 8, your focus will shift from investment to optimization. Drive efficiency, reduce costs, maximize returns. We'll cover those advanced strategies in the next video. Need support? If you have questions about your own simulation, feel free to contact me directly using the email provided. I also offer free support for round 1 and round 2 decisions to help you get off to a strong start. Closing message: thank you for following along. Capsim is not just a game, it's a powerful learning experience. Every round is an opportunity to think like a real CEO, analyze data, make trade-offs, take calculated risks, and lead a business to success. Fastest support TO. Get top results $9.99 for Capsim. Email behelp2002@gmail.com. Blog https://capsimguide2021.blogspot.com. Free Excel file for all 8 rounds. Download from blog or send the email. Online quick support Q&A equals WhatsApp equals https://bit.ly/3silp9u. Whole game support equals $50 for 8 rounds equals top results.